Well, hi, Andreas. I'm Maddie from Temple of Geek.
Hello.
It's great to meet you. Congratulations on 30 years. That's
Thank
really
you.
exciting and incredible. Looking back at that 30-year career, what unique challenges or satisfactions did you find in bringing characters like Jafar and Scar and Gaston to life?
Well, this really wasn't planned that I would do three in a row. It's extremely rare. It just happened. I remember I had just gotten off King Triton in The Little Mermaid, and we were starting on Beauty and the Beast. And that team from Beauty and the Beast said, well, you seem to be drawing anatomy really well, hands, you're very expressive. And we have a character like that, Gaston, who is sort of a bodybuilder, and I think you would like him. So I ended up doing that character. Then we get to Aladdin, and they said, well, we liked your last villain, do you want to do it again? I said, of course. So I ended up doing Jafar. And by the time it came to Lion King, I didn't even ask to do the villain because I said, well, surely it's going to be somebody else's turn now. I can't do them all. And then I found out that Jeremy Irons, the actor, had just been in the studio to record some dialogue for Scar. And I listened to it, and my brain was exploding. And I thought, I got to do this character. I know it's not my turn, but I know I can do something with that voice. So I talked to them, and they said, yeah, of course, we had you in mind. So then that was number 3. And I did get offered Hades for Hercules as well. So I could have continued with villains. But at that time, I thought, maybe it's time for a change, because you might repeat yourself with your acting and your drawing if it's the same or similar concept. So I said, is there a chance maybe I can do Hercules instead of Hades? And so I switched.
Well, that's really exciting. So then I guess my next question for you would be, is there a difference in mindset when you're going in to draw protagonists versus those villains?
Well, villains are the ones where you can roll up your sleeves and be expressive with your acting, and you can really do really broad things, because villains motivate the stories, and there's a lot you can do with villains. When you have heroes, they tend to be a bit more subtle, realistic, and you have to be careful with your drawing and the movement because they have to seem real. But it's also a challenge. It's a good challenge to also be able to do that as well. And I really enjoyed doing Hercules.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was great talking to you, and I hope you have a great rest of your convention.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Right here.
Hi.
Hello. Now you're stuck with me.
I am stuck with you, but it's
we doing Temple of Geek.
Temple of Geek. Yes.
Temple of Geek.
Yes. I'm Maddie. It's great to meet you,
Hello,
Jim.
Maddie. Good to meet you.
Yeah. So you've voiced an incredible range of characters, from the lovable Winnie the Pooh to the cunning Hondo.
Yeah.
How do you approach finding the distinct voice and personality for such diverse characters, especially when they have such distinct moral compasses?
Well, that's true. With for instance, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, they were established. So the trick is you have to be true to what everybody's known and loved all those years. And the original characters like Hondo Naka or Darkwing Duck, my approach is I look at them first, because that informs you. Like Darkwing's not super big, he's not super small, so he's kind of right in the middle. And you inform it with the personality, and you have to think of it in terms of just completely different people, and they've all got an attitude and they've all got an agenda, and you got to get that in the voice, you got to get that in the acting, and then it gives the animator something to animate, and then you're home.
Yeah, absolutely. And so beyond those iconic lines and songs, what elements of voice acting do you believe are the most crucial in bringing an animated villain to life and making them truly memorable?
Well, I've always said that the villain has to be really strong. He has to be really powerful, and he has to be really bad. Because, put it this way, Peter Pan wouldn't have looked anywhere near as cool if Captain Hook was kind of halfway, I'm a bad guy, No, he had to be evil. And that's how it works, The bad guy has to be a bad guy for the good guy to look as good.
Right, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Jim. It was great getting a chance to talk to you.
Same here.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
And I should tell you, you can tune into my podcast, Tuned In with Jim Cummings, Toon.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. We absolutely will.
Please do.
Yeah, have a great one. Hi, I'm Maddie with Temple of Geek.
Hi.
Hi, John. It's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, as an artist, are there any rules you set for yourself or considerations you look at when you're designing the environments for supporting characters or a villain like Jafar or Scar that help enhance their presence and impact?
So that really, when you're talking about a Disney film, we got a lot of people involved, and it starts with the directors because they have a vision, so we have to support it. And then I'm working with Andreas Deja, who's the lead animator, and so I have to support him. But I can tell you a story. When we were working on Aladdin, he said to me, "Well, you're a designer, so I need help with Jafar's staff," which I ended up designing for him as a cobra. Right? It had a nice curve to it, and it came down, and the flares, like a snake does, the cobra. And so, oh, that's great. He loved it, and so I got to design Jafar's staff, and that in that way I supported the film. But what bugged me, and still does to this day, is on Scar, because if you look at Scar's paw, he doesn't have cat pads, right? And I always thought that he should. Andreas just made squares. And that's been a pet peeve ever since.
So you wish you could have supported that a little more in
Yeah.
that project. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what elements of Andreas's work on villains do you find the most compelling or innovative?
Well, there's nothing innovative about it, but in his own personal style, as I would get a scene from him, and I would look at the first couple drawings, and they were just so beautifully drawn, because there's the weight of Scar's face, right? His nose, his hair, and you can see it when you flip through his key drawings, and they're very tightly drawn. But then, and he's drawing with his fingers, right? But by the last drawing, he's drawing with his arm, right? Because he's into that scene, and so I thought, well, this is fantastic. I could tell how he's drawing it. And so I have to do all the in-between drawings to support him and then film it, right? And I always loved being the first person on earth to ever see these scenes come alive. I remember there was this astronomer who was working on a satellite that flew out across to the other side of Saturn. And she was up when the picture came in from outer space, and she could see the other side of Saturn, and she could see the Earth far away. And I felt like that astronomer.
Wow, that is a really beautiful image, a really beautiful way to describe it. That is wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me
It's
today.
my pleasure. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Maddie here, and I wanted to give you all some context behind the interviews that you just watched. As a journalist, I attended San Diego Comic-Con at the end of July. And as an entertainment journalist, I was able to participate in a number of interviews with some really incredibly talented people in the entertainment industry, in the pop culture industry. Um, and I was invited to this press room that was celebrating Andreas Deja's 30-year animation career. Andreas is known for animating iconic Disney villains such as Gaston and Scar. And so it was very fascinating to be able to talk to him as he looked back over 30 years of animation and what it's like animating villains versus heroes and how there is a difference in mindset and the way you can draw and create those characters, which is very insightful and something that I personally never would have thought about. Um, and John Ramirez, the lovely gentleman at the end of that interview, was Andreas's assistant over the years. John worked really closely with Andreas on all those projects that we know and love. And hearing him reminisce about what it was like to work with him was inspirational, truly inspirational. And Jim Cummings, the one sandwiched in between Andreas and John, is the voice that brought all of those animated characters to life. He has a truly impressive voice acting record as the one who has voiced most of us, who are millennials, childhood favorites. He's been Winnie the Pooh. He's the singing voice of Scar. He's Darkwing Duck. And so many more. And the range in his voice is incredible, absolutely incredible. And so getting to speak with all three of them about animation and about being a part of these iconic stories over the years was a dream come true. And if you want to find out more about what it's like as a journalist working at these big events, let us know in the comments. Let's chat.